America, America. My name is Ahmed Yosef from Pong. I come to you live every Monday and Thursday. Monday, I do a more relationship show. On Thursday, I do a show that's more focused on politics. And today I'm going to talk about Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff. And she is flawless. When I say flawless, I mean not necessarily the tennis player as in terms of winning and perfect. I'm talking about mean. That's M-I-E-N in German, character, her bearing, flawless. I didn't know that much about her. I heard, she was winning. I like women's tennis in general. I like women's tennis. If I have to watch tennis, I'd rather watch women's tennis than men's tennis, but I don't really watch sports that much anymore. And then I don't watch tennis. But I came up with like I'm about the same age as Jennifer Capriati. So and I grew up in Southern California. So women's tennis was in the air. And I like women's tennis. And growing up in Southern California at the time, the Williams sisters were on the horizon. And so I know enough about women's tennis to enjoy women's tennis. By the way, if you've never seen a tennis match live professionally, do it. Because one thing that you don't quite get on television that you do get when you see it live is they're hitting the crap out of it in ways that there are the intensity with every stroke is something that when you see it live, you're like, wow, they're putting a lot more into it than I thought. So, I was first interested in Coco Gauff in particular, not just the newest black lady tennis player. I remember Sloane Stephens, and I was interested in her in particular when this week when I saw her walk up to the ref, and apparently the person she was playing with was stalling between points, trying to get some extra rest, and she only got called for one time violation, but she was making it like a habit of violating the time, and Coco Gauff walked up to her. And I want you to notice the walk. Remember, when I saw this initially last week, I was just kind of, checking my email, scrolling through whatever, and I just see her walk up to the chair umpire, and I'm like, well, first thing I noticed was her fit was fantastic. I love the color. But then I just saw the bearing in her walk. And I'm a black guy who's been around enough black women to know that if someone's crossing the room, if a black woman is crossing the room from point A to point B, like Coco crosses to go talk to this chair umpire, she's right. So this was before the sound even came on. I knew that whatever Coco's mad about, whatever happened, she's right. Because there was no way she would have that kind of I've had enough of this nonsense unless she was right and had receipts. And it turns out she was. And now if you think I'm joking, I'm just going to play the clip.
Okay, here we go.
She's never ready when I'm serving. She went over the clock 4 times. You gave her time violation once. How is this fair? No, you're calling the score after the point is over. It's not like we're playing 1 point. You're calling the score 6 seconds after the point is over.
Yeah, well, she's 100% right.
You missed her 4 times. She's never ready. It's not like we're having 30-ball rallies. It's 2 balls. She's going to... You're very quick. I'm going a normal speed. Ask any ref here. I go at medium pace speed. But she can't. It's every single point. And everybody in this crowd knows it's not doing her job. I've been quiet the whole match. Why do you think they clapped when you gave her time violation? Because she's been missing for 6 points. Not first set, every game. Second set, every game. I didn't say nothing, but now it's ridiculous. I don't care what she's doing on her serve, but my serve, she has to be ready.
Okay, well said.
All right. So I liked it even right up at the end where she says, look, she can take all the time she needs on her serve, but on my serve, she better be ready. And in my mind, I'm thinking the subtext was that if she's not ready, I'm going to put it in her gut. At 100 miles an hour, she's going to be eating this tennis ball. And I appreciate all of that energy. I appreciate the way she came up. I appreciate the way she solved that problem. I appreciate the way she handled herself. I appreciated everything about her. Still didn't know that much about her as a tennis player. I was like, wow. I didn't think I just kind of appreciated it in general. I didn't think she was going to win. I didn't know the state of women's tennis at the time. Like I just didn't know. And then when Gauff made it to the finals, I was like, I guess she's pretty good. Let me do some more research. And then I do some research and I find out that her father was an NCAA basketball player at Georgia Tech, and her mom was a heptathlete. And let me tell you, a heptathlete, that means she knows 6 skill events. We're talking high jump, long jump, javelin, shot put, hurdles, and then she can probably run a pretty good 800, which means her mom is coachable. Like, you don't get good at that many skill events in track and field unless you can take direction. There's no natural talent, a way to like learn how to both shot put at a high level and high jump. That's just someone who is coachable. And if you're coachable, that means you know how to coach in a way, not necessarily, but often. You have kind of an analytic approach to the game. And the dad was a D1 basketball player. So what we're talking about are parents who know their job, who understand the assignment. And that is there's another cat by the name of Ben Shelton, and I get the feeling that both his parents understood the assignment also. And Ben Shelton's in a relationship with Anna Hall, who's like one of the world's greatest athletes. She's a pentathlete right now, so I would suspect that their kids, if they stay together and have kids, they understand the assignment too. So I get the sense that the Gauffs understood the assignment and were enacting what they know. By the way, I do think, this is a slight tangent, but I think it's interesting. I think black people are going to take over American soccer in a profound way in 2 generations. There are a lot of like very good high school basketball players who took up the sport maybe too late or didn't get right coaching until a little bit too late, or they're too short. And then there are DBs, defensive backs, who got like hurt for some other reason, or like don't want their kids to get CTE. Once they switch over and like train their kids in soccer, like it's over for U.S. soccer. I think the color of U.S. soccer is black. Not in this generation. Most of the black dads who do soccer now in Sirius are African, right? But in the next generation, they won't be African. They'll be, American descendants of slaves. And that is going to be awesome for American soccer. Now, go back to Coco Gauff being flawless. And like I said, it's not just about her tennis. It's about how she carries herself, how she handles the press. There was a section in her, after she won the U.S. Open this weekend, where she's giving her talk to the audience. And then when she really wants to say something, she has to hold them. She's like, all right, if you want me to answer this question, do you mind if I hold the microphone? Which means if I give an answer you don't like, I control the mic. She's already has like an instinct or the training to like kind of elbow out and position her way out of being gatekept by the media. She wanted to hold the mic while she gives her talk because she doesn't want anyone taking away the mic or cutting her off in an untoward fashion. And I appreciate everything about her. So what I did when I found out she won her match, my kids only know pretty much about the outside world what I tell them. We're on a very strict media diet in the USA Frimpong household. And so the next day, I pitched it as if the match was live, or a slight delay that would explain why we could fast forward through commercial breaks and it still worked because the match was kind of live. And I pitched it like we didn't know the match was happening. And so we watched the whole thing. They saw Gauff. We did the pre-match, like, inspirational videos. And then we saw Gauff lose the first set. And the kids were a little bit worried when she lost the first set. And then we got to talk about how like a lot of this is about emotional control and being able to battle back and to keep your focus and keep your emotions focused on your games and not get frustrated and not give up. And I know this was helpful for me because I knew that Gauff would eventually win and it'd be a wonderful object lesson for the kids. And so as a family, the USA Frimpongs watched the US Open final. And I hadn't seen it, so I saw it and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the girls thoroughly enjoyed it, and the son, everyone had a great time, and I just thought, she's great. She's great. There's a quality of seriousness in her eyes and in her bearing that I want mass produced among like everybody. And she has a class, a poise and composure that, I'm probably 2 generations away from. Maybe my grandkids will be without anxiety or be so clearly, have a clear sense of who they are and what they're doing. And I think it's because their parents understood the assignment. And so what I did was I researched the parents a little bit. And so like, what kind of parents create a Coco Gauff? And I saw this clip where her father talks about like, what he was kind of going through and the difference between her and him.
My career.
I had the career I wanted to have. I realized that I could have gone farther, but I didn't have a father like me.
My career.
I had the career I wanted to have. I realized that.
So there you go. The difference between Coco Gauff and her dad is her dad didn't have a dad, or her dad didn't have a dad like she did, right? So what's going on is kind of a historical development of black fatherhood in a way that, man, black fathers just had a little bit more money, a little bit more institutional support. You have no idea. I mean, I think people do, which is why we make sure we poop on black men so much. I think people actually do know what would happen, not just in sports, but in American life. So I appreciate Coco Gauff. I appreciate everything about it. I appreciate everything about that family. I appreciate the decisions they made. I appreciate their plans. And you know what? I don't even think that playing tennis is going to be Gauff's greatest contribution to tennis or life. Like in terms of poise and demeanor, I think she might be a coach. Like imagine Coco Gauff coaching, like listen to her talk, listen to the way she thinks through the game, but like the intensity of her bearing, and think about what that would be like working with your kids. I can tell you it would be awesome. Or not just working with your kids, start coaching tennis, like just in general, she's got a quality of grounding that even the Williams sisters, like a quality of maturity that even they didn't have. They were just like, not street kids, but they were just kids with slightly better parenting than most other kids. I don't want to say that we use the word polish. I want to use the word ground. Because even Richard Williams has this checkered past and problems and anxieties he was working through and all of that. And 2 kids made it, but the other ones kind of didn't. Even Williams had that in a way that I don't think Coco Gauff's life has been filled with so many asterisks, or the parents' lives have been shot through with so many asterisks. And I just think that's what happened. And I also like that in her narrative, when she talks about it, she doesn't talk about it being natural or magic or anything. It's about the work and the training and like how they train through problems. And then she wasn't a phenom or a prodigy. She just kind of they just had as a unit to work through the obstacles that came to her way. And that's what you get. Also, here's a great, there's just so much that tells you that everything in this family, this is like family goals for me. This clip right here.
And the one thing you did the last 3 games, we didn't give up no free points on her damn serve. Her serve is weak. It's real slow. She give you the miss. I curse?
No, you did.
I said, no, it's real weak.
No, but you said you can't turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I curse real.
Well, you said that you would.
Oh, well, that don't really count.
Yeah, so some places it does.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry about that. And the one thing you did the last...
How you not gonna love that? How you not gonna love? How you gonna not appreciate that? Even like she was just so smooth with it. And the dad, you know, everyone talks about how black dads are angry and patriarchal. He just took it with a good sense of humor, and he was just. She was so smooth with you know. Not everyone believes that. Like it was just so. Oh my goodness. That that's just it's a beautiful thing to see, and I appreciate everything about what's going on, and I think she's flawless. I think she's flawless. Every interview, every time she opens her yap, every like decision is like just charming and like without being cloying, and I appreciate that. All right, thank you for your time. I'll talk to you on Thursday about something completely different. Peace.